It is midday here at Mrima Ndege Sub location, Ganze constituency, Kilifi County. After driving for 71 kilometers from Kilifi town, we arrived at the homestead of Dama. She sits among the wise council of elders in this area. Locals here refer to her as Mikitao, a name given to her upon the delivery of her firstborn baby. Her hospitality knows no bounds. She welcomes us to her humble home. She quickly dashes to summon her fellow elders who live nearby. After a few minutes, we huddle together. As is the culture here, the men separate themselves from the ladies, and they are all very eager to know why I pay them a visit. I notice Dama's silence as I engage with the whole group, perhaps a cultural behavior in the presence of men, so I pull her aside, and it is here that she tells me more.
My child is in school. My husband pays no attention to us. He is a drunkard. He spends every penny he earns on alcohol. If I tell him about school fees, he argues with me and chooses to ignore us. So I decide to be unfaithful to him with a well-off man so that my children can go to school.
When they are caught by their husbands, they pay them a fine, a sign to depict forgiveness. These older women have a key role to play. Poverty has hung a dark cloud among women such as Dama. They are forced to fill their husbands' shoes after the men allegedly abdicated their roles.
Sasa vile tukifikiria hivi hiyo mambo ni kuwa inaanza na sisi waume.
The husbands choose to leave their wives in the village for a very long time. The woman then decides to interfere with people's marriage to borrow money.
The women do this because we, their husbands, are poor.
Over the years, the practice has now evolved into a thriving business. Men began to take advantage when they realized they could actually make money from the practice. They have become complicit in the affair.
He tells her, wear nice clothes and go show off yourself. If you sleep with a man, come tell me.
Charombogo is a member of the Council of Elders. He narrates some of the cases he has handled.
Our old generation used to pride themselves in many wives, but these days they cannot maintain them. The wife then chooses to be unfaithful.
Some do it because the men have left their wives penniless in the village.
Malu is a Giriama word which loosely translates to a fine for adultery in layman terms. It is also known as pesa ya makosa in Swahili.
Anakitoa yale tukumpatia yule mwenyewe, sisi kama wazee tunarekebisha, tunamwambia hasa umepata makosa na tunarekebisha aishi sawa sawa na bibi yake.
A fine of 5 goats and 5,000 shillings is quite a kill for these men. This is what the richer have to part with after sleeping with their wives. They are throwing the societal morals to the dogs and adopting a money-minting business in which they use their flesh and blood as a gateway to prosperity.
Usimwache ende kwa mwingine alafu utafute pesa. Hiyo mambo ni kwa hadraki. Na ujue siku hizi kuna magonjwa.
Because of the repercussions involved, many women appear to have abandoned the practice.
If the elders counsel him and he chooses to reform, I will stop being unfaithful because AIDS is rampant nowadays.
Despite efforts by the Council of Elders to cancel the locals over the years, many choose to remain in the business, drawn by the allure to make quick money. Many have succumbed to HIV/AIDS that is widespread in the area.
If a woman dies, she dies with her husband. She might have co-wives. They all die. Who will look after my children?
Mgla moja aishi kivyake na usima wake. Kiwa mmoja anapatikana ni mgonjwa, tumamwambia ende kwa hospitali anapate madawa.
A report released by UNAIDS earlier this month shows that 71% of young ladies aged between 15 and 19 years die of AIDS annually. Gender norms are the biggest contributors of this epidemic in the society. The younger girls are alleged to have emulated their mother's behavior in a desperate effort to provide for their families. Join me tomorrow as we highlight their tribulations. Reporting from Kilifi County, I'm Juney Karisa.